this now. We're just debating. We're debating about sandwiches. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, that's right. Sandwiches. That's
and 2000 early 2000s music hits.
Shout out to the Black Eyed Peas. All right, let's get it started.
Okay, go ahead.
Welcome all to the Tortillas and Takes podcast. You are on once again with your boy, I'll be sure. And woo, buddy, hot dog, boy, howdy, whatever type of exclamatory statement you want to make, you can make it now because Texas Tech made it Saturday morning in Salt Lake City, Utah, beating down the Utah Utes by the final score of 34-10 to talk about one of the biggest wins in recent program history. We got the people's champ himself, Jeremy Gillen. What's up, Jerm?
What's up, Albie? Man, if I wasn't running a marathon Saturday, my heart rate sure felt like it. Like, I don't know if there was a single point until late in the fourth quarter that I didn't dip below like sitting at 120. I couldn't even sit down. I was just like, anything can happen at any moment, and I'm just waiting for heartbreak. And boy, what a game! Like, what an exciting game to watch. And I really just like jealous of everybody who was able to go and be a part of that atmosphere. Everybody that I know that have been talked about how fun it was, talked about how exciting it was, even at 10 a.m. Like, it was just it felt like, it was all or nothing. And fantastic job, Salt Lake City. Fantastic job, Utah Utes fans. Thank you, Big Noon Kickoff. Just an exemplary, I think, experience, even for people at home like me and you.
So I will say, so I actually was comparing Big Noon Kickoff to College Game Day. So a couple things. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of people that Fox News or Fox Sports 1 now employs. I'm not a huge fan of some of the people that are in Big Noon Kickoff. However, game day, you got a problem on your hands. I actually first had this thought last year when they came to Tech for the Tech Colorado game, where I was like, man, this is a pretty good showing. And the amount of now they do a lot of like playing to the crowd and all that other stuff, and sometimes the playing to the crowd overdoes the analysis itself. So I think that there's some leeway. College Game Day used to do the same thing years and years ago, but like Big Noon Kickoff, I think, understands something that College Game Day has forgotten, which is the whole point of is the endearing yourself to the crowd, is the fact that you are in a location. Like, that's the whole point of the whole thing, right? I mean, what if you're not endearing yourself and being part of the location of where you are? Then it's no different than NFL Live before NFL Live before an NFL game, like on Sunday morning. Like, this is where you're just in a studio. There's no point in College Game Day at a campus if you're just going to be sit up in your chairs the whole time. All right. Even College Game Day now, when they do go down in the crowd, they're not really in the crowd. They're just in a different location talking to themselves. Big Noon Kickoff, and I saw somebody tweet this, and at first I was like, man, that's kind of not fair, but it did kind of feel like College Game Day 20 years ago. Right? It has that vibe, that feel of, hey, yeah, now it's just as fun and all, but the crowd. Like, let's endear ourselves to the crowd. Let's eat the tailgate. Right? They were at the pig bus. They ate the barbecue that was made over there. Bad tweeters, good food apparently. But like, they endeared themselves to the crowd, right? And they endeared themselves to everything that was there, and they made it a really great environment. And that Utah crowd, I mean, apparently those kids were there rocking since 4 a.m. You know what I mean? So like I looked and I compared the two, and I'm comparing it to Miami, and I'm like, well, first of all, nobody's really even here for this Miami game, right? It's nowhere near as packed, right? It's the product doesn't really look great. There's just guys up there talking. And we don't really care what a lot of them have to say. Like, if it's not Desmond Howard, Nick Saban talking, I really don't care what Pat McAfee has to say about the subject. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, at Kirk Herbstreit, you've kind of lost your validation on a lot of these things a while ago. So, like, if it ain't Nick Saban or Desmond Howard, I don't care. And I'm not saying that I care what like Matt Leinart has to say on Big Noon Kickoff, but at the very least, he's having fun with it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, no, great product.
I think that you're really hitting on something where college game day 20 years ago, right? When we were growing up in the era of like, man, college football, it could be anybody. You know, you got some powerhouses, but really it could be anybody. I think they really built a brand on going and being a part of college football and that excitement that like, you know, all of these programs across the U.S., big and small. I remember when they used to go to the Ivy League games. They were like, dude, it's Yale versus Harvard, and like we're gonna make a big deal about it. Dude, nobody really cared about that game.
Nobody cared.
But we were all watching because it was like, I never pay attention to the Ivy Leagues, and everybody. I mean, this nerdy Ivy League crowd is rowdy, and they're excited for this one moment in the national spotlight.
The decision,
different vibe.
The decision for College Game Day to go to the Florida at Miami game, I think is one of the worst decisions they've ever made.
Egregious.
Like it's not. And I'm not even saying like I'm not even sitting here saying, oh, how dare you not go to Texas Tech at Utah. They could have went to. First of all, I was actually really shocked they didn't go to Auburn, Alabama, right? Even by ESPN standards.
That's right.
That's the SEC game of the week, right? 2 ranked teams. Jackson Arnold going against his former team. John Mateer in his first test as a Heisman candidate. Like that would have made actually a lot of sense. I think fans like us, we couldn't have complained too much as far as them going to Auburn at Oklahoma because that would have just made a lot of sense. So for them not to go there, that was a bad decision.
Yeah.
Right, but also, old College Game Day would have went to the Illinois-Indiana game.
100%.
Like that's the perfect game. To your point, as far as Yale Harvard, it was the first ranked matchup between Illinois and Indiana since the 50s. Right? I think they had also never been to Indiana. I could be wrong, but I think they'd, even if they had, it only been one time. Right? So it's a place you haven't been in forever, if at all. It's a 2 ranked teams, 2 unlikely ranked teams, right? But one against each other. Mendoza, the quarterback for Indiana, is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Like there's so many great storylines that could have went there, and they didn't. They just didn't because it was. The fact of the matter is, there were 2 brands that they deem people don't care about, and that's not what College Game Day used to be about. Like you said, it used to be Harvard, Yale. They went to an HBCU game years ago, right? Like it wasn't about brands. It was about college football, and Big Noon Kickoff somewhat feels that way. College Game Day has kind of lost it, and Lee Corso retiring, though he long overdue, to be honest. But
sure.
Him retiring kind of almost marks the end of like, all right, now we can say what we really felt about College Game Day for a little bit. Because it's like all right, because that whole headgear thing was part of the majesty of College Game Day. It was like that was fun. So now what, And so yeah. So College Game Day, y'all now have competition. So we are a very capitalistic society. So in the age of capitalism, in theory, competition breeds improvement. So we'll see if that actually happens. But Big Noon Kickoff definitely won the battle of the war this weekend. Their show in Utah was great. Right after that, Jeremy, we put on a show. Not to mention College Game Day, everybody picked Utah. College Game Day.
Oh. Yeah,
everybody did. Big Noon, I think it was split. It's pretty split between the group.
Pretty split, yeah.
Yeah, but College Game Day, everybody picked Utah, and well, you dummies.
Shows how much you pay attention.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the logo on the side of the helmet for College Game Day in a lot of ways. I haven't heard, like to your point, I haven't heard a lot of good analysis. Like Des Howard still has some really good analysis. He slips in there. Reese Davis, it's like sometimes you shine, sometimes you really don't. They lost the Bear to, you guessed it, Big Noon Kickoff. And I mean, he comes in with the most like deep stats for everybody, right?
When did that happen? I saw that on Saturday and I was like, am I on the right channel?
Hey, you in the wrong place. But it was just like this loss of, getting down to the nitty gritty of, hey, I think that's very much, and Texas Tech fans will, sympathize with this, that anytime Texas Tech is mentioned in any version of ESPN, web, print, TV, it's like, oh, Texas Tech. Like, Don't get excited because they're just going to fail. And to their credit, and a lot of times we do, right? But they allow that to drive a continued narrative where it's like, Well, once they got rid of Mike Leach, it was all over. Well, once they got rid of who was it? Actually, the big noon, Joel Klatt, or just an announcer. Joel Klatt was. I remember when he was like, "Man, Matt Wells was the best you guys were going to get. You should never have done that, right?
How dare you?
How dare you?" And then he had to watch, the Harrington boot it.
Oh, when he was like, he'll never. Now, all right. So I will say this, because a lot of people have been coming down on Joel Klatt for that. So if you don't know, Joel Harrington tried a 57-yard field goal at the end of the first half. And we're going to go over the game here in a second. And Joel Klatt, while on the broadcast, was like, Utah really needs to have a guy back there. I don't think he has a leg for this. His career high is 47 yards. Yeah. He's not going to make it. And let me tell you something. I agreed with Joel Klatt. I was like, I don't know about this.
I did too. I was having like Iron Bowl flashbacks 2013 or whatever it was. Yeah. I was like, if Utah sends a man back there, we better be able to cover because like he's going to run it the whole way back. And I'm going to have to deal with that.
Actually what it was is that because Harrington is supposed to be the leg between him and Belafonte.
Yeah.
And so I was more so like, I don't know if he has a leg, but if he does have the leg, ain't no way this thing going to be accurate. He just going to boot this thing as far as possible and it's not making it anywhere close.
The wrong way. Yeah.
Right. And Harrington shut us all up. Like Harrington's like, nah, man, I do this. Special teams in this game was, a lot of the headlines, of course, are going to be offense and defense. Special teams was just good as well. Right. Just all three phases. We were really good in this game. So,
yeah.
Jeremy, let's not talk about it. Let's be about it. Let's talk about this Texas Tech Utah game. Starting off first drive on a third and what was this? A third and let's see here. I'm missing this here. I'm trying to find it. Was that pass to Jacoby Williams? It was a 3rd and 10. It was a 3rd and 10. I thought it was a little bit further, but it was a 3rd and 10. Right, first play. Looks like we're on the 12-yard line. It was a really good punt by Utah. It's going to be bad field position. We weren't able to get anything on the 1st and 2nd down. All right, well, the false start actually got it. Was actually the false start even brought us back down to 3rd and 10. It's going to be rough. Let's see what happens. And Jacoby Williams. So 2 things: Mac Leftwich, great play design to get Kobe Williams on a underneath dig. Right, but then also, or underneath corner in, but also, Jacoby Williams is taking that thing and going, right, using that levels play underneath to catch the ball, shake off 2 defenders, go for 40 more yards, shake off another defender, go for 10 more. Overall, it's a 73-yard gain. Jacoby Williams, wow! After he did it last week and the week before, it's just ongoing.
Yeah, Utah. Defense ? Wondering about this ability to tackle in space and to be able to tackle, have these open field tackles, and Utah just getting bullied. Jacoby Williams. Some of them, I think he broke 3 tackles on that play, and some of them just you're like, oh, they're dead to rights. Like Jacoby's down, and no, just shimmies out of it, no big deal. I was stunned that he went down at all at the end. An insane and what would be for the 3 quarters an uncharacteristic play offensively, but just a really good and like you said, Leftwich to get Jacoby space. Williams is the speedy like closes down open field as quick as possible. And I don't think Utah is ready to have anybody that open that early. And so 10 a.m. Good morning.
Yeah. Well, then right after that, on a 3rd and 11, that nice little Utah did a good job of covering everybody else, but Dickey's right there underneath on a kind of drifting out there, gets 8 yards, makes a guy miss, which I was like, go north south, Dickey, go north south. But he made a guy miss, got the 1st down, and then got the touchdown right after that. It's 7-0, just like that, Texas Tech. And I'm like, man, we on the board. Let's go. Right after that, a turnover on downs. 4th down stand. Nakari Rogers gets nowhere, and I'm definitely feeling good. But really, from that point on, the offense really struggled in the first half. Right, we had a 3 and out immediately after. Utah, though, so this is pretty interesting because Utah has that. What was it? A 74-yard touchdown pass. Devin Dampier. Let me tell you, and what's funny about this is Devin Dampier did that funky deep throw. If you watch Devin Dampier do his deep throw, he does it like a little toddler, right? Where he does like a weird, he throws it, but he has to throw his whole body into it. And then like he shifts his feet position, kicks one foot up in the air, but 74 yards to the house. And I'm like, oh man, it's going to be a shootout. Shout out to that right tackle, right?
That's right, baby.
He goes 5 yards up, not paying. Because the thing about it is, it wasn't even, was it? I don't even think it was an RPO. Like he just went 5 yards up, wasn't paying attention to where he was. Definitely going to be an embarrassing day. It's Monday as we're recording this, so they've already had film. I'm sure it was an embarrassing day for them while they were in film study, for him to see himself like, why the hell would you even be that far up? But appreciate you. That ball gets taken back, and the touchdown gets taken back, and they'll later find out that not having that touchdown was probably the worst thing that could have happened, because a few plays later, we got a nice little fumble. Shout out to your boy Ben Roberts.
The punch, a clinical punch. Go back and review that. If you are a high school coach and you're trying to teach your boys how to do it right, just put Ben Roberts on replay. And I tell you what, though, at full speed, it is hard to get a beat on the ball. And Ben Roberts has made a habit of just getting his fist in there right on the ball. Yeah, amazing. A fantastic fumble and recovery.
So apparently, Joey McGuire said before the game that morning he had talked to his linebackers about punching the ball. Right? Talk about great coaching. Because talk about great coaching and great responding to your coach. Right? Because he talks about punching the ball just like that, and you already get a fumble. Like almost instantly, you're like, oh, we got action. Right? They listen, coachable moment. They were good to go. Issue though, 2 plays later we get an interception.
Correct. Was that the one that was no, I did not like this interception.
The first one was the one to Caleb Douglas.
Yeah, I did not like this interception just because, and this is a really heads up play by the safety for Utah, but just pumping off or like ricocheting off the shoulder pads of that cornerback, and just it's up in the air, and really all the safety had to do was get under it. It was that was a. Should you have thrown it to Douglas? Maybe not in that scenario, just because of the positioning of the cornerback. But if you felt like he had Douglas over the top, I mean, we've talked about Caleb being one of the better receivers on this team. Like, if he feels like he's got Douglas over the top, shoot it over the top. But he kind of undershot him a little bit, and then it ended up in the hands of the safety.
I'm gonna save my thoughts on this interception.
Okay.
All I will say about this is I don't think this was Morton's fault at all. I don't think he underthrew it. Okay. I think if he throws this ball 10 times, he throws it in that exact same spot 10 times. And that it was very much on Caleb Douglas. And that Caleb Douglas, exact same play happens later in the game, and Caleb Douglas corrects himself. And that's what ends up being a big game. We'll talk about it here in a little bit, because I got a patented Albie rant coming up. Got a rant coming up. But yeah, I don't think this was Baron Morton's fault at all. And it's funny because live, I was like, man, you underthrew it. There was I know some people were talking about how Caleb Douglas could have came back to the ball to get the pass interference. Yeah. That could have also been there as well. But yeah, man, bad underthrow, yada, yada, yada. I will say in this play, you were talking about him going over the top. The safety who ended up getting the interception, would have got the interception if he went over the top too. I mean, that's where the safety was kind of headed, right? It was over the top there to get that interception in general. Tao Johnson. And so that, I think that was it. Actually, if anything, Devin Dampier throwing the interception later in this game, that's how that interception would have looked had he gone over, right? Yeah. That interception to Bryce Pollock later on, right? It would have been the same thing. For Morton had to go over, right? He was trying to, from what my vantage point, we were watching this, it looked like more of a back shoulder fade. That I don't know if it was necessarily miscommunication. Maybe Caleb Douglas didn't realize the back shoulder fade, or he just didn't come back to it like he was supposed to. But like I said, he makes up for it later in the game. But yeah, it was just really unfortunate to get an interception almost immediately after that. But Jeremy, the best way to make up for that, right? Your offense turns the ball over. The best way to make up for that, Jeremy?
Complimentary football.
That's right. That's right. Getting the fumble right back, Jacob Rodriguez. My boy. Ben Roberts, your boy. Jacob Rodriguez, my boy. Get another punch out. Coachable players and a coach recognizing ability, right? Both Jacob Rodriguez now also punch of the ball, get that out, get the fumble, back to your offense, right? And let's see if we can make something happen. Great work, great play. Offense didn't make something happen after that. Doesn't matter. Just absolutely great thing. And it's funny because at that moment, right? Talking about take three, you had take three in one quarter.
Yeah.
Like that's turnover on downs, fumble. You had take three in one quarter. Absolutely amazing job there by the defense in the first quarter. And just like that, another first quarter shutout as we go into the second quarter there. So it becomes really a defensive battle as we continue. And then finally, the offense gets something going, right? 11-yard run by Jacoby Williams. Baron Morton gets that pass to Cowboy Coy Aiken to get it to the Utah, deeper into Utah territory. We're close to the red zone, but then we have on a slot fade, Coy Aiken goes towards the end zone, pass out to him, Jackson Benet interception in the end zone when it looked like we were about to go score. What are your thoughts on that interception there?
Hey, this one may also not be on Morton. In reviewing the play, I didn't like how Coy didn't come back to the ball on that. But at the same time, Benet, for Utah, it did kind of bounce right into his arms as well. It just, if you're Coy Aiken, you got to outmuscle him for that. If he's behind you, you have to have the ball. And I don't care if that's even if you want to bring it to the breadbasket, it is in the center of your body. You've got to be able to control that. Well, you should have done what I would have gotten grilled for. So you got to stick your hands out and catch it away from your body so that the defender doesn't have a chance at all. But, on that fade, kind of backing up, I don't know. He probably wasn't concerned. Probably felt like he had the position, but really kind of got taken advantage of there. And yeah, it's Coy's burden to bear on that one.
So the first interception, I probably placed the blame on Baron Morton about 20-25%, right? Mostly because it looked like it was that Baron was trying to throw a back shoulder fade. Over the top, like this interception by the safety, back shoulder, you either get a PI or you get a completion. It seemed either to be miscommunication or Douglas not making his way back. But I say 25% because you brought up a great point, which is maybe the decision to even throw it in the first place wasn't a good one, right? Scan it, see somewhere else, not a guy going into somewhat double coverage, right? That one, I say 20 to 25%, I put it on Morton. This one, 0.1%. Just because he's the quarterback, so maybe you shouldn't put it at 0. But 0.1. The more I watch this play, the more I'm like, y'all are coming down on Morton for this interception, and it's not his fault at all, right? I want everyone to go back and watch this interception, right? Because it's a good decision. One-on-one, Coy Aiken on Jackson Benet. I would take that almost every time, right? The ball placement was great. Everyone's talking about it in underthrow. It wasn't an underthrow at all, right? Coy Aiken, for whatever reason, drifts out further than he needs to. I don't know why. I think what happened, this is what I think. I don't know for sure. I think he tracked it and misjudged where the ball was going. So you drift away thinking the ball's going further than it is, and now you have to come back, right? If Coy Aiken literally keeps his route going the way he started it, it is a touchdown, right? So also that's first thing. It's a bad route that he ran to start off with. Drifts away without needing to. Then, as you kind of mentioned, no fight for the ball, right? No fight for the ball whatsoever. Jackson Benet's easily able to rip it away. And so this is that, and that's the interception everyone's saying, Morton's the issue. Morton's the problem. And that's what I'm like, bruh, look at it was, when I first saw it, my first inclination was bad spot. Aiken got to fight for it, But I was looking at underthrow, That's even what they said on the broadcast. It's an underthrow. Like, oh yeah, I guess so. And then I watched Coy Aiken's route, and I'm like, that's an awful route. That is a terrible route, right? That is absolutely a terrible route. And so, again, I of the what's 20% times 0.1%. I give Morton less than 10% fault on both of those interceptions combined. But that is what people are using for the whole Morton stinks as we kind of come to today on Monday.
Once the ball leaves his hands, that's it. Like, he is committed to his part of the job, right?
Yeah.
And we've seen multiple examples, and you see multiple examples in this game after this of like receivers and tight ends out muscling defenders, putting themselves in between the defender and the ball and getting a catch, right? In more tumultuous area, like in much more higher traffic scenarios than this, 100%. This for me, or 99.99% for me on Koiken on this one. Yeah, just watch the tape. If you watch the tape and you say it's Morton's fault, you don't know ball.
Yeah, no, I don't put this on Morton at all. And mind you, again, Aiken made up for it later, and that's all we want. We want that. So what we want is complimentary foosball, and guess what? The defense got it back. We talked about that Bryce Pollock interception. Devin Dampier made the mistake that Barry Morton was trying to avoid, which was throwing over the top on in a cover two. I guess a cover two defense when your corner has, or when your receiver is one-on-one with the corner, and he did it, tried to throw to the corner, couldn't get it, couldn't make it. And honestly, he was already rolling out to that side anyway. If I'm the safety over the top, I'm like, well, I see you're rolling this way. I see the receiver one-on-one with the corner over here. If you're going to throw it, you're going to throw it over here. So let me just go. I'm going to position myself to where you're probably going to throw it, because there's only one guy beneath and one guy above. You're either going to throw it far or throw it short. You threw it far. Oh, that wasn't very smart. Let me go pick this off real quick. And Bryce Pollock does it. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, shout out to Bryce Pollock. He didn't have to choreograph too much. He was like, oh, I'm just going to be a pretty, smart safety here and just go get this interception real quick. So great job by Bryce Pollock, on fire right now.
He was on fire, continuing to capitalize on his moment in the spotlight, for sure.
Yeah.
No reason to take him out.
No, none at all. And he's doing a really great job. And so with that interception, now Texas Tech has about 2 minutes to go down and get some points. Just get some points, any points. And sure enough, this is where we talked about it. We're Stone Harrington, 58-yard field goal. Joe Clyde saying he don't got enough leg. Don't got enough leg. And he had the leg go up 10-0. And Jeremy, I thought we'd be good. 10-0, that was good enough for us. We'll be good. We'll go into halftime 10-0. Little too much time. 2 timeouts, 48 yards. All they wanted to do was get in the end zone. And unfortunately, I think and we were a little bit farther back on that pass that Devin Dampier went to Ryan Davis. Right, it was 24 seconds left. And I think that was the one where we were a little too cushiony, gave that one up, not really expecting too much. And it was just enough for that nice little Dylan Curtis field goal at the half to make it 10-3. I wanted to be 10-0. It was the first points given up in the first half all season.
And it almost would have been, it was almost good. It was almost 0 still because he missed that first one, remember? And then they called the roughing the kicker.
Yeah.
Oh, but they were talking about how bad he's been for Utah this season. And I said, oh, no. Like, I had friends over. And I was like, that means he's going to miss this. Like, he's obviously going to miss this because he knows everybody's talking about how bad he is.
And he did.
And this is further. And he missed it. I was like, no way. Oh, so I was all excited for like 3 seconds before they said the flag was on the field. And when there's a flag on the field with a kick, you already know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm just disappointed he got the next one.
Yeah. So, but it was 10-3 at halftime. How were you feeling at half?
Stressed. As stressed as I've ever been. And so there was one half of me that was like, listen, we should be up 21-0. Like, we should have had 2 tutties and 2 more tutties, and we should be rolling this team because like the defense was cranking. I felt like we were right there on a lot of it. And I was already starting to think about the false starts. So I was like, we've kind of shot ourselves in the foot a couple of times. It's like 3 or 4 false starts.
Yeah, a lot of false starts, a lot of bad penalties. Yep.
And I was just like, man, like we're better than this, right? So one half of me was very optimistic that, hey, we're gonna come out second half. Joey's gonna give them that big old talk in the halftime, and we'll come out and whip them. The other half of me was like, this Utah home field advantage is for real. It was loud.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on. It was loud. We were sticking to the dumb clap count for some reason, which is why we're getting so many false starts. And their defense is for real. Like, even if with our good offense, like, they had a very coordinated defensive effort. Like, it felt like we could not really dunk it. We could continue to dink it. There was a few moments where it's like, hey, we can maybe dunk it. In the same way that it was for us with Utah, but it was like such a good defensive effort. I felt like Devin Dampier was about to turn on again, like he did against Wyoming. So I was really sitting in the middle of thinking we could do a lot more damage, but equally I was worried maybe we didn't do enough, and now Utah's going to kind of come roaring back and win at home, like, because they're dying to win at home. They're like, this is going to be the first Big 12 game that they can win at home.
They've still never won a home Big 12 game, which is hilarious. But yeah,
right. But at the half, I was like, we're only up 10 points, and for me as a Texas Tech fan, that is not enough.
Yeah, what do you feel? What's worse or what's better? Is it better when in a game like this? Because I agree with you. In the first half, we were the better team. I even tweeted it. I said, "Look, like, I don't know who's going to win this game, but I do know who the better team is." The first half gave me everything I needed to know. I'm like, I know as I look at these two teams, who's better. The better team doesn't always win, but I know who's better. Who's outplaying the other one, and the road team is outplaying the other one. I know who's winning the line of scrimmage. The D-line was beating the Utah O-line, and vice versa. The Texas Tech O-line was beating the Utah D-line, right? I know who's winning the receiving quarterback battles. I know who's winning the running back linebacker battles. We are the better team. We basically are beating them in every facet. We're only up a touchdown. So, like, it's, when I'm curious who feels better at that point, right? Because there's been so many times where the opposite has been true, and we've been the team that I'm like, man, we've been outplayed, but it's only a game, right? And you really feel better about that. But flip side, at halftime, I actually surprisingly was like, yeah, it sucks that we're only up by touchdown, but if we just keep playing our game, we're gonna beat them because we're like in every facet, we're beating them in every facet. The only places we're not is penalties, and then we had 2 bad turnovers, right? But we are kicking their butt in almost every other facet of the game. But then something negative happened in the beginning of the second half. Baron Morton gets a nasty hit. And Baron Morton had already been hurt earlier in the game, stayed in the game, continued to run for some weird reason. What is up with our quarterbacks being hurt and still running, right? We used to talk about Kitley always wanting to run our quarterbacks even though they're hurt. And now this ain't like, it's not like Leftwich is being like, hey, QB runs. That was Morton just being like, I do this. Like, dude,
I do this.
Chill out.
Yeah. Without knowing how to slide.
Without knowing how to slide. Good news is it wasn't a concussion, shockingly, even though I have my conspiracy is like, because what is the injury? It's like a neck. It's a neck injury, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they just categorize things as neck injuries now. So, because concussion, you got to go in a protocol.
As soon as you say head, then it gets a lot more complicated.
It's different. So you say neck, and it's like, oh, okay.
His neck is sore.
Yeah, neck contusion.
And we also don't, we won't let him practice for a week and a half. That's his own thing.
So, but anyways, he has a quote unquote neck contusion, and he's out. Will Hammond comes in. And Will Hammond balls, absolutely balls. So, his first inclination of coming in, he takes it easy, right? Nice little. It was a third and very far back, third and very far back, and he just nice little Will Hammond designed run, which Leftwich really only does for Will Hammond, because wheels, and so punt it away. Defense and third quarter was really a defensive showdown, right? I think in the entire third quarter, only 3 first downs between both teams, right? Defensive showdown. Finally, we get something going as we kind of end the first quarter into the fourth quarter. Will Hammond starts making some plays. And that really starts with that pass to Reggie Virgil where you're like, oh, 19-yard gain now, right outside the outstretched hands. Okay, Will. All right, accurate throw. Remember, I've been criticizing critical of Will Hammond because he hasn't been accurate. He hasn't been a great thrower. The bowl game last year, he was not a good thrower of the football. Even last week against Oregon State, did not play very well, wasn't throwing the ball very well. In this game, great crisp passing that started with that 3rd and 3 to Reggie Virgil. And that really got us down. And you're like, okay, well, now we're near the red zone. We might actually get points here. 3rd and 10. Whoa, that pass to Caleb Douglas for a touchdown. Mm-hmm. Now we're cooking. And now just like that, it's now just like that, we got something on the grill there. It was already sorry. That was that pass to Caleb Douglas was that back shoulder fade I was talking about before, right? And so that's what I was mentioning before, where Caleb Douglas now is recognizing the situation, safety coming over the top, one-on-one with the corner. Hey, let me come back and cut back. And it's almost like I learned my mistake from earlier in this game where I didn't come back further enough. Let me catch it here. Good pass by Will Hammond. I'm going to get it here. And that led to a field goal to get us up 13-3.
Don't forget that was they ran the exact same play.
Yeah.
Literally, I don't know if that was Leftwich's decision, Hammond's decision, Douglas's decision, or all three, but it was basically like, shit, like that. I could do better. Like, let me do again. Like, we got this. Like, this was my fault. Let's do it again.
It's food. This is food. I got it.
This is food, man. And just did it again. And Utah didn't have an answer. And so, 33 yards just shows the. I think the biggest part about this moment in the game is that it shows the confidence. And they talked about this a little bit in the aftermath of the game. They interviewed, Will Hammond about, what was going on. How does that transition happen? And he gave us a really, I think, sweet insight into his, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but his and Baron Morton's relationship, where Baron's like walking out and just tells him like, hey, I trust you. Yeah. Like, I trust you. You got it. And that they have such a supportive relationship with each other that built, like, Will Hammond's not looking to be the number one. Like, he's looking to be what he needs to be for the team. I think it's what really is setting this team apart from expectation, is that everybody's looking just to do their job and do their job well. And for Will Hammond in that moment, it was like, I got to go and be the guy to finish this thing out. And everybody else gets that, and they rally around it. So then Caleb Douglas, when either he decides or they call up, hey, we're doing that play again, he doesn't go, okay, well, we'll just try. He's like, all right, fine, I'm going to cook this guy. And so ends up being a big catch for 33 yards and really sets up I think a momentum, like that catch in itself changed the game. I think that started to gas the defense right there of like, oh my God. And I'll tell you, and anybody tell you who's been on defense, if there's a team and they got one star player and they just keep running that same dumbass play to that player and it keeps working, that wears you down mentally more than anything.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, I literally can't stop this guy. So for that cornerback to get greased by Douglas right back to back, he started to lose his his confidence in himself. He's like, oh, uh-oh.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I will say, the only time in this game I was worried, was the following drive, because Utah had a hell of an answer. Hell of an answer right after. They're down 2 possessions for the first time in this. Well, not the first time, but down 2 possessions in the fourth quarter. It's 13-3. The offense hasn't done jack squat all game. And they have the only good drive of the entire game, because I won't even count the end of the first half drive as a good drive. This is the only good drive of the entire game. And it starts off with that huge pass to Dallin Bentley for 44 yards to get into Texas Tech territory. And then they're able to kind of just work their way in. Wayshawn Parker, Mr. Tweeter, big tweet Parker, gets a couple first down runs, right? A nice little pass out to Ryan Davis. And then Parker ends up bulling his way to a touchdown. Great response, and it is 13-10, and that is the only time I'm like, oh, excuse me. Uh-oh. Like, now, are they a little rejuvenated by the Baron Morton injury? Are they like, hey man, our goal is right there. They're starting quarterbacks out. Let's go get it. But just like they responded, Will Hammond, great job responding, and it started off with that 32-yard run where they're like, man, this guy can run too. What's going on here? Great big run by Wheels. That's the nickname, by the way. That's it. I saw some people trying to figure out what the nickname is for Will Hammond.
What did Gus call him? I can't remember. It was so dumb.
Yeah, I said big kill Will in on a tweet, and I was like, that don't feel right.
Will the Whiplash? What did he say? I can't remember.
Oh,
Anyway,
Willie, yeah, it was like Willie Whiplash, something like that.
Willie Whiplash, like an
Yeah,
old 1970s
no,
Western cartoon
Wheels
character.
Hammond, great nickname. That's it. No notes. So, and then he also has that nice pass to Coy Eakin to get another first down that led to Terrence Carter wide open on the side, blown coverage by Utah. And you kind of talked about it mentally, breaking down mentally. That and I think from that moment on, the game ended with that Terrence Carter touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Game ended because they're done after that, right? And that's offense and defense. Right after that, it was a 3-and-out, led right back to the good guys, where Will Hammond goes crazy once again. Another great pass to Reggie Virgil leads our way. Another great pass to Terrence Carter. Cam Dickey, great run where nobody on Utah decided they want to tackle. They're just like, screw it, we got to tackle this guy. Middle. Yeah, we got to tackle this guy. Guys, can you get him? Can you get no? Okay, and he runs for a touchdown. And then Kyle Whittingham decides. On a 4th and 18 from your own 17, we're gonna go for it. And shout out to Jacob Rodriguez, because really that's a bad interception. It's a bad interception, but he's like, stats. Let's go.
It said, look
for the NFL prospect tape
in front of my wife.
Yeah. After Gus Johnson was like glazing on her for about 5 minutes prior, he was like, "Hey man, relax."
You see her workout tape at the beginning?
Yeah, impressive. No, she's ripped. Impressive. No, when I say glazing, I mean like Jacob, you might want to talk to Gus because he was doing a little much. All right. But yeah, interception, and that just led to another touchdown, and it's a party in the LBK. Absolute dismantling of the Utah Utes in the fourth quarter, 34-10. In a game where, yeah, the score was a little more lopsided than the game actually was. At the same time, you mentioned it could have been 21-0 at half. And I could actually, I say that, I could argue that 34-10 is actually a proper representation of the entire game.
Yeah.
Right. We just got the final score that echoed how the rest of the game actually went.
Yeah, I a little surprised at how low scoring it was, but this was truly a testament to how great both defenses were. And I put out just a simple tweet after the game that like Utah fans should not hang their heads at their team. Yeah, the offense has a little bit to work on, but they ran into an absolute buzzsaw of a defense that we are still trying to wrap our heads around. Like, I don't think that Texas Tech fans will truly grasp how good our defense is until after the season, the dust settles, whatever that looks like. And it's like, hey, you're going to see Texas Tech on like the leaderboards and stuff. And then, oh man, we really did have a good defense. Like, I didn't really, looking back, we really stopped a lot of these teams. And like, Wayshawn Parker, buddy, you're going to be the first in a long line of people who are like, Texas Tech, nah, like I can do better. And you just can't because of the way that we set up our defense. Now,
yeah, I need somebody to go find a Dean Connors tweet real quick.
Literally any skill guy from Houston. Let's line them up. But this was truly like, this is what I wanted to see in this game. And I've seen some people say, oh, well, Texas Tech was rolling it up in garbage time. No, all the ones were still in. The only one that wasn't in was Will Hammond. He might as well have been a one with his skill. QBR, he was one of the best in the nation this weekend. Yeah. The only reason I would say, like, hey, Utah got torched at the end is that Will Hammond coming in was not a part of their game plan. Will Hammond's skill set and his ability to run and what that opens up with Coach Leftwich's playbook is not a part of Utah's game plan. And to have played a whole game and you got a new quarterback come in who's fresh, who's young, who's got wheels, who can sling it, that's really hard. And I think depth certainly played a role on the offensive side of like, you can swing it. There's so many different people that can get the ball and then this guy can go run. It's so hard to defend and it's so much. And at the end, and I was surprised at that last touchdown. I was like, oh, we get the ball. It's like 2:30 left. Like, okay, we're going to run it out. F that, dude. Let me sling it over to Reggie Virgil, 21
Yeah.
yards, tutty. Like, okay, let's bury this game.
Yeah.
And after that, it's like, well, we're cooked. Like, so this was a good game all around. 34-10 doesn't really illustrate how close. I mean, you scored 24 points in the fourth quarter, pretty much at the end of the fourth quarter. And so it's really hard to tell how close this game was. But Utah is still a really good team, even though, of course, they lost one game and they got punted out of the top 45.
That's how it works. So I mean, you're right. All great things. Will Hammond actually absolutely had a great game. So does this mean Will Hammond, new starting quarterback at Texas Tech?
That's right, buddy. And then next week when he sucks, guess what? We're going to the third string.
Get ready, Mitch Griffiths.
Get ready, Mitch. You're up, buddy. You're the savior. No, I don't think so. And I think the point I was really trying to make about how Will looked against Utah is that Utah made their whole game plan around Baron Morton, which is a completely different style. I mean, he maybe in his heyday he would run a lot more, but not really, not anymore. And we've talked about in the pre-pod that there's no reason for Baron to run. He's a part of this offense. Like, this offense is built around him and his ability to drop back and throw well. With Will Hammond, it just brought in a whole different dynamic at the end of a game where guys have played their hearts out the whole game. I mean, at that point, we had 10 points. Utah kept this number whatever offense in the nation to 10 points. That's amazing, right? And then you bring in a whole new quarterback who's ready to go. You see it time and time again across the college landscape. You've seen it in the playoffs. You've seen it in the BCS era, you've seen it in all kinds of big games, small games. When a young quarterback comes in at the end and like the defense is gassed, or they're not ready for that quarterback's in his style. I mean, it can really shake things up. So does that mean you switch out the quarterback? No, because this is still Barron's team. And I think that Barron and Will would both agree with that. That just because Hammond really comes out and balls out, Will did what he needed to do in that moment. And that's what the team rallied around that. But does he get to do it week in and week out? I mean, we've seen him play games where he's been kind of buns. And it's like, oof, I don't know.
So you bring up my first point, which is guys, let the national media talk about all this. We've seen Will Hammond. We have seen it. I'm not saying this in any way of trying to denigrate him or anything like that. We've seen Will Hammond. We don't have to act like this is the first time we've ever seen Will Hammond. We've seen him play. We've seen him before this game. We saw the game he had just last week against Oregon State, which wasn't great. We saw the bowl game. I saw somebody say, well, but that was with the twos. Let him be with the ones. From my experience, when you're that guy, when you're playing with the twos, you pop out. You don't look like part of one of the twos, right? We've seen it. We've also seen him play really well. This isn't the first time he's played really well in replacement duty, right? We earlier this season he played really well against Arkansas Pine Bluff. He's played really well in other games. But we have seen scenarios where you look at the two and you say, yeah, Baron Morton's the better quarterback. He's the starting quarterback. He needs to be the starting quarterback. He's the redshirt, junior quarterback as opposed to the redshirt freshman, right? Like these things are pretty obvious. They're there. You're like, yeah, they're here for a reason, right? It's and like these guys, both Morton and Hammond are in their scenarios because they deserve to be where they are. It's been known for this whole time that Hammond is next up, but he's not there yet. Like you mentioned before, that they're teammates, and they like the main reason why Hammond's been okay because he's like, man, this is my team soon, right? So for us to just act like, I think everybody's just so excited it's because everybody wants to. First of all, common misconception is common like saying is most popular player on the team is the backup quarterback, right? And not only that, but the backup quarterback who can run, whoo buddy, everybody, that is so sexy. Everybody loves a nice little sexy little running back that can run, right? So I respect it. I get it. You're like, man, if he could use those wheels and he can throw, fantastic. And I agree, right? But it's not. I think I've been seeing a lot on Twitter about like when Will Hammond really just unlocks some of the piece of the offense, and that aspect you're kind of right. He does. His wheels and his mobility gives him an ability to do some other things that Morton, still athletic, just not as fast, not as athletic as Hammond. I'm not going to take that away. However, right? We've seen what Morton can do from the pocket. We've seen him be a really good thrower. We've seen that be successful, right? I saw somebody else say that he's going to get hurt after all because he's hurt all the time. Dude, he's the first guy to make it through a full season in since freaking Nick Shimonek, right? Since Pat Mahomes. So what are we talking about here? Now he's the guy that gets hurt all the time. Literally every quarterback before him has gotten hurt all the time, but him. Anyways, so there's that. But so there's that. Another thing is, and another reason why this is all way too much from the Texas Tech fan base, we have seen time and time again through college or through football history, not just college football, but NFL history, all history of quote unquote riding the hot hand failing. Happens so often. When you make a decision at quarterback more than anything else, you got to make sure that's the decision. Most recently, I sat through an entire Colorado-Houston football game, right? Which kind of felt like it was against my will because it was not a good game. But I sat through an entire Colorado-Houston football game. And I was joking with you, Jeremy, because we had made predictions about that game, that if I would have known Coach Prime would have been foolish enough to start his third-string quarterback simply because he was the hot hand and had a decent second half the game before, I never would have picked Colorado. Ryan Staub comes in. The offense looks terrible for 4 quarters. Guess what? The very next game, Caden Salter comes in, and Colorado's offense looks as good as it has all season long. Coincidence? I don't think so. You don't go with the hot hand. Just us Tech fans, just last year, we're making fun of Texas fans and their whole, hey, we should start Arch Manning over Quinn Ewers thing. Look how silly that sounds now. Look how silly that sounds now, right? Sark knew it. Sark at the time was like, no, this is Quinn's team. Quinn is the starter. Quinn does this. I know Arch just came in after Quinn got hurt again in these couple games here, and Arch has done a really good job. Good on him. But Quinn is our guy, and it was the right decision. Led them all the way to the semifinals of the college football playoff. One bad turnover away from a potential national championship, right? It was the correct decision then, just like it is now. And I'll give you another example, Jeremy. Baron Morton, a few years ago, coming in relief for Tyler Shuck after Tyler Shuck got hurt. And when we had this quarterback controversy, and it was, oh man, Baron Morton, 4-star quarterback. He was in high school. We love him. We love us and Baron Morton. He should be the starting quarterback. And it wasn't his time yet. It simply wasn't his time yet, right? Time is a flat circle. It's just Baron Morton has lived long enough to see himself become the villain, right?
That's right.
And I'll give you one more example, Jeremy, because I told you I have a lot of them. Back in my wee day, when I was in Jones AT&T Stadium, sitting in the student section, when Taylor Potts and Steven Sheffield had their own quarterback battle. You know why? Because Taylor Potts was the pocket passer quarterback who had waited his turn, and he was now the starter. But Potts was struggling. So Mike Leach said, we're going to go, and also Potts got a little bit of hurt. He got hurt, and he was struggling. We're going to go with the backup, Steven Sheffield, a.k.a. Sticks. He's fun. He's sexy. He's the backup quarterback. He can run. Ooh, man, this guy's good. Ooh, we like him. He's so fun to watch. Go, Steven Sheffield, go. You know, and then that actually lasts so long that next year when we have Tommy Tuberville doesn't know who the starter should be. So we go back and forth, right? Sheffield's the starter a few weeks. Finally, you know what happens? The starting quarterback remains the starting quarterback. Taylor Potts is the starting quarterback for the rest of the year. He gets an upset win over 10th ranked Missouri. And who was the quarterback? Blaine Gabbert was the quarterback on that team. And the rest is history, right? Because at the end of the day, no matter how sexy Steven Sheffield looked, Taylor Potts was the correct choice. He was the starter. A couple differences there is that they were about the same age and they graduated the same year, so you kind of have to choose one, right? There's no such thing as handing the keys off to the other guy because the other guy won't be there anymore. But also, at the end of the day, as sexy as Steven Sheffield looked, made a lot of mistakes, right? Luckily for us, Will Hammond is still young. He's still getting a chance to grow. He's getting a chance to be behind Morton and be that guy, just like Shuck was to Morton, right? Just like Justin Herbert was to Shuck. Right? It's not like everybody's like, hey, man, we got to put the young guy in. Just relax. Have patience. I'm already hearing people talking about like, oh well, you know, what if we lose a game because of Barrett Morton underthrowing, right? Guys, watch the game, and as long as Corey Aiken doesn't drift off into space, there won't be an underthrow. It is a very annoying sentiment, and it was one I knew was happening. Second, Will Hammond, I can't even enjoy Will Hammond balling because I'm like, and I'm sure Joe McGuire probably felt the same way. I'm like, man, this is incredible. This is great. Tech fans are going to be dumb about this, aren't they? That's how I was feeling. I was like, man, this is, I can't even enjoy this because I already know how stupid this is going to be. And I tried to get ahead of it, and it still didn't matter. This is dumb.
Yeah, and I wonder if there's a sympathy of, you know, if we don't, because we've had this burn in the past of like, if we don't play players, they're going to want to find greener pastures elsewhere. They're going to look for something elsewhere. Like the transfer portal is so all encompassing that it could happen to anybody. Like we've had players that we like leave. We've had players that we thought were really good leave. You know, there's like a fear maybe in the back of some Tech fans' mind, like, hey, Will Hammond's better, and if he gets benched for Baron Morton, they create a narrative in their head, just not real. And that's immediately dispelled by how Baron and Will both talk about each other and the way that they're, you know, how they coexist, and that this is Baron's team, but like Will has Baron's full trust to run it. They're just fearful.
Well, and then also, and they talk about on the broadcast, and we've known it for a while. Will knows this is his team next, right? Like it's not like
and a more talented one.
Exactly.
More depth all over the place. Yeah,
exactly. Like Will knows, like this is my team next. Like literally next year, in about 4 months, it's going to be my team next. So like, I don't think this. You know, I used to have a saying that starters don't transfer. Obviously, that's no longer true. But maybe the saying should now be starters don't transfer at schools that actually have the money to pay them. Maybe maybe I should extend that longer. Because that's just the case. Like I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case anymore. And smarter quarterbacks also know I need to develop. I need to get a little bit better. And as of right now, if you ask me, I do not believe Will Hammond is currently better than Baron Morton. I think if he was truly better than Baron Morton, then he would be the starter. I don't think he's better than Baron Morton. We've seen the best of Will Hammond. That game against Utah is the best we've ever seen of Will Hammond. We've also seen the worst of Will Hammond, right? And you don't choose your starting quarterback off of the max, the best we've ever seen. You choose off of what you consistently see. And in practice, the coaches consistently see a better Morton. In games, we have consistently seen a better Morton. And that's what you go for. And then eventually, Will Hammond will have his time. He'll have his fun in the sun, and we'll all be happy and ride off to Valhalla. Together. I don't know if you've seen that meme going around Twitter.
I have. Yeah, I've seen it.
So all in all, Texas Tech, big whipping. Who is your? All right, so I'm gonna say who's your offensive player of the game. You cannot choose the guy who was voted as Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week, Will Hammond. Choose somebody else.
Really? Rats. Well, I think for me, Terrence Carter. For me, and he didn't like blow up the stat sheet at the same time, but Terrence Carter had some of the most important catches of the game in tight spaces, and one immediately in mind of just like cutting across on like what probably is a slant route if you go back and look at it. Defenders all over him. And I'm like, there's no way he's catching this ball, and comes up with it. Like, great play. I think Will Hammond was in that point in the game, dime on Carter, and Carter just paws it and goes down, but like has the ball when he comes up. And it was like, I was stunned by the catch. I thought he would have lost that. And that, I think that drive ended up leading to either the field goal or it led to points. So Terrence Carter, for me, no doubt, big player in this game, especially in that being wide the hell open, one touchdown.
Great pick there. I was looking at, Reggie Virgil also had a really good game in this one. Jacoby Williams, of course, I think he's just going to have a great game every game he plays. He's just awesome in both the run and passing game. I'm going to give it to Cam Dickey. Cam Dickey ran very hard, broke a lot of tackles in this game, scoring 2 touchdowns in this one, and the confidence for Coach Leftwich to give him the ball continuously. And I want to see that hard running as we move forward. Great job from Cam Dickey overall. So who is your defensive player of the game? And no, you cannot name the guy who was named the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week, Jacob Rodriguez. Got to choose somebody else.
Rats. There were so many good ones. I like John Curry.
Damn it.
John. Dude was all over the place. John Curry was playing the star role so well, man. And he was getting in the backfield of Utah so often. The guy was lightning, and he was causing a lot of issues for Utah's offense. For this NFL offensive line, they had a really hard time keeping up with a lot of our players, John Curry being one of the most noticeable for me.
Yeah, very good pick there. There's a couple guys that I actually have on my list. You're right. There was a lot of good plays here. David Bailey had a really good game here, just dominating that D line. Overall, AJ Holmes played really well in this game as well, as did Skylar Gill-Howard. The D line just had a field day overall. Bryce Pollock obviously got that interception. He's having a really good game, day and game here. Of course, Ben Roberts got the forced fumble, all right, and also got a PD in this one. But I'm going to give it, and I don't know if necessarily he was the best player in defense, but I asked him to step up in the pre-pod, and he stepped up in this game. Cole Wisniewski, welcome to Red Raider land. Best game of the season for him so far. I thought he played outstanding in coverage, played really well in coverage overall. He's a big reason why Devin Dampier wasn't able to get much going. The safeties in this game were both incredible in general. Also, seems like maybe Amir Boyd might have gotten a little bit less out the doghouse. I think this is the most snaps he's played in a few weeks as well.
Yeah,
though still sparingly, so he still got to work his way up a little bit more. But yeah, no, defensively, I think everybody really played really well in this one overall. Any other notes as far as this 34-10 beatdown?
The pass interference call on Cole Wisniewski towards the end of the game would not have been called in the SEC. That's all I'm saying.
That was a trash call.
Oh, man. Like this is some weak, buddy. And he, as soon as it fell down, he was in disbelief. I'm like, whatever, man. Whatever.
Yeah. He's over here like, they don't call this in Big Sky.
That's right. The boys play.
Big Sky. Yeah. All right. So we are. Week 4 did happen here on the Big 12. Big win. That was really the game of the week. 34-10, Texas Tech over Utah. Other games were played. Friday night, Jeremy. Friday night. So this is going to be an ongoing theme this year. I think over the years we've been doing this podcast, most of the time, if we disagree, I would like to think most of the time when we disagree, I'm usually right. I feel like I have like a 60-40. Usually I'm right over you. I think over the years. All right. This year it's going to be 90-10 you. That's just what it's going to be. You got the pulse. You got the pulse on the nation of everything here. And it starts off with me believing that Oklahoma State is bad, but they can't possibly be that bad to lose to a bad Tulsa team. Right? Wrong. They lost by a touchdown, but I mean they had to play up to lose by a touchdown. they had to make up for it to lose by a touchdown. This should have been a relegation game. This should have been a game where it's like, you lose this game, you can no longer be in our conference. Oklahoma State right now is fighting with Stanford and Cal, and maybe UCLA for the worst team in the power conference. Mm-hmm. Oh, not Cal. Sorry. I apologize, Cal Bears. You're not that bad. You're actually having a decent season. Sorry. Stanford and UCLA for worst power conference team in the country. Oklahoma State is bad. K-State fans, you all think you're bad, and you are bad relative to how you usually are. Oklahoma State is just truly, truly bad. That is a bad football team. Flat out.
Falling from grace, man. Crazy to think of where they used to be. Yeah. And
Mike Gundy is planning his vacation home right now. It's funny though, he's not that old. I think he's 56. Like he's old. That's so. I'm curious if when Mike Gundy does get fired, because he is going to get fired. I mean, there's no way around it. Or retire, whatever he's going to call it. I wonder if he's still going to have the itch to coach again. Is he going to be on Fox Sports or Fox News coming up, or what he wants to do there? But there's no doubt he will not be the Cowboys coach going into next year. They can't let that happen. They absolutely just can't do it. All right. SMU at TCU. Another game that I got wrong. TCU beating SMU to win the Iron Skillet for the last time in a long time. We don't know when this rivalry will be regained. Rhett Lashley, what a B. Oh, like an a-hole. He's just,
dude, no kidding. What a ridiculous
like,
thing.
what the hell's wrong with you? Like, what I'm talking about is his post-game comments after really getting beat by TCU decently. Josh Hoover played really well, 5 touchdowns, 379 yards. And Josh Hoover really establishing himself as potentially the best quarterback in this conference. We've been singing Sawyer Robertson's praise, but Josh Hoover, good on you.
Got a really good yeah.
Yeah, and then Lashley coming over here and saying, "Oh, well, we're in the third best conference, so we got to go up and play real teams." Let me tell you something. ACC's been getting their butts kicked by the Big 12, all right? And SMU, you lost to both TCU and Baylor. So the whole private school triangle in Texas, you're the worst of the three, which we've all known for quite a while. Maybe you should play Rice next. Maybe you'll see what happens there. But yeah, no, TCU Iron Skillet for a while.
That's right. And no doubt from me, Big 12 just different this year. For me, the difference maker was Josh Hoover. I was surprised to see him play such a good game. But yeah, TCU obviously, and there's no such thing as a home field advantage for SMU. So TCU's just been playing a lot better. Hasn't seen a loss yet, and keeping the train going.
That's right. No pun intended. North Carolina at UCF, another game that I got wrong. UCF beat the hell out of North Carolina. Gio Lopez for North Carolina only threw for 87 yards. What the hell, Bill Belichick? What's going on here? Why are you desecrating your legacy so much?
That's right.
All right, like nobody's had a worse fall from grace than Bill Belichick. This is getting embarrassing.
Hey, man, everything about Bill Belichick right now is just not turning up Bill Belichick. This football team, his girlfriend. UCF truly, though, having a resurgence as a football program, and we've looked at them kind of like dang, you guys are really kind of falling apart, and there's no real magic here anymore. I think they took a little bit of that personally, and we've seen a little bit of different mojo with this team. With who said that they're Central Florida? Yeah. I'm just like, well, no, actually, we're UCF, and I'm going to show you what that means. Just kind of a little bit of a different sweat. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I still don't get why they hate the Central Florida thing. I think it's because they don't want to be viewed as a directional university, like a lower level directional university. I think that's the reason.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah. I could see UCF fighting for a bunch of respect in the state of Florida. I mean, think about the other teams that you got going on. You got Miami, you got Florida, you got Florida State, right? These are bigger teams, bigger brands, and UCF has worked really hard to kind of, first of all, and remember when UCF came into the conference, they were like, dude, finally a power conference that we can go in and show that we're worth something. And it's a little bit slow going for UCF, but now they're getting their footing, and it's like, I need, Florida sucks, Miami's like, are they good? They haven't really beat anybody that hasn't, there's a name brand. So UCF I see is, trying to, they're basically claiming their pride of like, I'm telling you that we're called UCF, so you're going to respect that. Yeah. I don't care if you want to say something else. Yeah. So I think that, 3-0, hey, when they lose, we'll talk about, we'll speak differently.
That's fair. Finally, a game I got right. West Virginia at Kansas. Kansas wins a lot to a little, 41-10.
Jalen Daniels.
But he didn't look very impressive in the game, right? Like
it was
very hot and not. It was actually kind of a mid-off between him and Nico Marchiol.
And LaShawn Williams really made up the difference with. It was basically a two-front war with Kansas. LaShawn Williams being able to get out and run whenever Jalen Daniels wasn't, throwing very well in drives, saved Kansas, especially a couple of big plays from the Jayhawks.
Absolutely. Arizona State at Baylor. This is probably the best game of the Big 12 slate. Very good game between the two. Very good fourth quarter between the two. Sam Levitt and Sawyer Robertson really duking it out there. towards the end, but Arizona State and Sam Leavitt come out on top and really regain their status as still one of the favorites in the conference.
Yeah, truly so. But Sawyer Robertson, great quarterback, man. Still a really good quarterback. Feel bad for Baylor, and except really not. I don't know how you show up to a game like this with half your stands full. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there in Waco. But Arizona State is still a really good team. I'm excited that they're on our schedule, even with Baylor's not. Being able to the better that Arizona State plays, and I've seen some Arizona State fans now that they won the game, they're like, hey, that October 18th, I think we play them. October 18th, I bet you we'll get big noon kickoff for College Game Day. We'll get ranked by then. I don't know, but that will be kind of the next. That's what I see as kind of the next big game if Arizona State continues this winning record. Which is good, really good for the conference. People were talking about how Utah is going to be like that one game that's going to be really our test. I don't think so. I think that BYU. I think that Arizona State are two really good teams still. So
yeah, those are still.
And
we have
to go. And we have to go we have to go play Arizona State.
Yeah. Yeah, no, those are definitely the two games I still point at and say, maybe. Speaking of BYU, good win for them at East Carolina. It's not always an easy place to play. They've definitely had some upsets themselves, the Pirates, but no problem for Mr. Bachmeier, right? Bear Bachmeier, 246 yards for the youngin, as he still has the ugliest number in college football, but he gets to continue and is playing decently.
It's true. Yeah, Mormons just really, I think they're not, they haven't had a loss, so you can't say too much, but there's still a little bit of work to be done for BYU to be the powerhouse. Their defense is really good, but their offense, I think they still need a little bit of work to be really crisp. ECU, not a great team. So like 34-13, you should have. You better have.
Yeah, but with BYU, it's interesting. Their schedule, I mean, they have at Colorado, home against West Virginia, at Arizona. It's not like a lot of world beaters. We'll see about that at Arizona game, but like they could end up before they see Arizona 5-0, right? 6-0 if they end up getting a win against Arizona, and then you're looking at a huge in-state matchup with them in Utah, which could be crazy, right? Holy war indeed. So watch out for the Cougs, the other Cougs, and then last but not least, I mentioned Caden Salter, Colorado beating Wyoming. 37-20. Caden Salter 304 yards, getting his job back because he should have never gotten it taken away in the first place. Let that be a lesson to all of you. But yeah, 304 yards passing and 86 yards rushing, 4 total touchdowns. Good job for him.
Good job, good effort, Colorado. 37-20 at home. Whatever. Yeah. Enjoyed seeing the new route run. That was fun.
That's true. The new Alfie. That's right. So let's talk about the lounge real quick before we get up out of here. So the lounge, right? So right now in the lounge, on the couch, we got Iowa State, right? Chilling. Big chilling. Iowa State. Arizona State. Feeling good. Looking good. Acting good. TCU. You look good on the couch. You still behaving, being good, being appropriate. I got two people I want to ask you, Jeremy. Does Utah stay in the lounge? They took a loss this past week, but do they stay in the lounge?
I think, yeah, they definitely stay in the lounge.
Yeah, I think so too.
They're standing.
What about Baylor though? Baylor 0-1 in conference, 2-2 on the season. 2 tough losses, but do they stay in the lounge?
They stay in the lounge only because they know Sawyer Robertson. Only because of who they know. I think Robertson gets a little bit of cred.
Their losses weren't terrible. So it does. I mean, they lose a game to Auburn, which is a pretty good team. Auburn got hosed this past weekend too against Oklahoma, but they and then that lost to Arizona State, another one. Right? They could have very easily have been 4-0 at this point. So I kind of agree with you. I think both Utah and Baylor stay in the lounge. Arizona will have their chance to prove themselves to come in the lounge. I do want to make an exception, Jeremy. So Texas Tech obviously is in the lounge. But I want to bring Texas Tech. So Texas Tech, come off the couch real quick. Come with me. Follow me. I want to show you something, Texas Tech. Yeah, we're going up these stairs real quick. Actually, we're going up this elevator. Press that button right there. You're going to press that button, the magic button. I actually pulled the door behind you. Press the magic button.
Willy Wonka style.
Willy Wonka style. We're gonna go up to this floor. We open up. Yeah, you see this right here? Yeah, that's LSU over there. That's right. That's right. That's you have LSU over here. You have Georgia. Say hi to Georgia. Right. They're good up there. You also have
Oregon.
Oregon. Oregon's over here. That's right. Ohio State, Penn State. Yeah. This is the national title contender VIP.
The VIP lounge.
The VIP, the national title VIP. Don't worry about Texas A&M. I know they're a little weird and annoying, but don't worry about them. This is where I think Texas Tech is now. The right at the door, right? We ain't gonna let you on the couch. You can't be on the VIP couch. Right now, we got Ohio State. They're kind of the kings of the couch right now. We gotta let them show. Right? You can't go all the way in, but we're gonna let you right here at the door of the national title contender VIP, because that win against Utah and the way Texas Tech beat Utah, we were 12th in the AP poll. A lot of people looked at it and said that is a top 10 team. I kind of agree. I do think this Texas Tech team is a top 10 team. And for the first time that I can think of since crap, this is it. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm all in on the Kool-Aid. This is a great team.
Well, this is a monumental moment.
This is a great team. I think this is the way this team, like I said, I don't think Utah's a bad team. Utah's still a very good team. Utah's still going to be a team that wins 10 games this year, in my opinion. And we beat them like they stole something on the road in a tough environment. This is now a team. If you told me this team went 12-0, I'd believe it. Right? I think my prediction at the beginning of the year was we would, either go 9-3, 10-2. Now I'm saying, like, man, we got 2 tough games left. This is an 11-1 team at worst. I think this team is a very good team, ready for everything in front of them. They are officially, to me, a national title contender. I'm very excited for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. I'm all in on the Kool-Aid. All in. All in.
That's crazy. Up in the VIP lounge, Albie is finally, for the first time in my history, in nearly 10 years of this podcast, a believer. I'm
a believer, fully. I'm a full believer. This is a great, not a good, not above average. This is a great team, great football team, top to bottom, wildly talented. And so I'm ready to see what this team can do, and I'm ready to see this team beat the hell out of Houston this next week
in person.
Yeah, no, we're gonna beat the hell out of Houston. Also, coming off of a bye week, so it's not even like looking ahead or looking behind, nothing like that. We're gonna be focused. We're gonna beat the hell out of them. I'm very excited. Please do not make me eat my words, Texas Tech football team. Anything else you want to say to the people in Germany?
John Mateer, Heisman or no?
Did not have a great game against Auburn. I do like John Mateer, dating back from when he beat the crap out of us last year when he was at Washington State. I think Oklahoma, for Mateer to get the Heisman, Oklahoma's going to have to win at least 10, 11 games. I don't know if they're that good. So I think that's where the question lies. I think if you ask me today who's going to win the Heisman, I think it's more likely to be Dante Moore over at Oregon.
Yeah.
But Mateer definitely, I mean, we could win it for sure. I mean, he's right there for him.
Okay. Just wondering.
Yeah. So yeah, bye week this week. Jeremy and I got to talk about whether we're having another episode or not, but big bye week things. Everybody relax, kick your feet up. Should be a fun time in the LBK as we get to relish in this victory and get ready and focus to be 1-0 against Houston here in about a week and a half. Tickets are selling out fast, and it ain't from the Cougar fans. I'll tell you that. So I will say this real quick before we get out of here for that game. I joke a lot of times about the Cougs not having real fans. They have fans, they just don't have a lot of real fans. However, as somebody who lives in Houston now, was raised in Houston, I've lived in Houston for most of my life. Whenever a team in Houston is good, they get support. They're going to get support. I'm not saying Houston is good, but they're undefeated, and there's a slight chance they might be ranked by. I don't know if they'll be ranked, but they'll have the ability to be ranked if they do beat us, right? And so because of that, because I don't even have any they got like 4 coaches poll votes, but they won't be ranked by the time they play us. But this is their opportunity to really have a big win. Texas Tech is coming to town. So they're going to have a lot of support in this game. And this is going to be the game that is going to tell Houston fans whether or not to support the team. So a lot of eyes will be on this game. A lot of Cougar fans will be hyped for this game because they're going to believe that this is the game that's going to prove that we belong. And we're just going to beat the hell out of them and tell them they don't. So that'll be a lot of fun. For the People's Champ that is Jeremy Gillen, this is your boy, I'll be short, and you have been listening to the Tortillas and Takes podcast, part of the 1012 network. As always, stay wrecked, people.